Where did you guys develop the concept for ZEX? Like, how did that start?
Well, me and Joe, we wanted to start something together because we both wanted to. Well, I mean, I obviously wanted to start like some sort of music project of my own, but obviously he has a lot of experience with music, being in a million other projects himself. So we kind of just went together to try and come up with some sort of idea of what we wanted, and we're both kind of sexually free people, and we like to be a little bit provocative. So while we were coming up with names, Sex was one that we came up with, but it was taken by someone he actually already knew. And, but I thought, I don't know, I just kind of felt like that was already, like, a pretty bold word. And I always, like, ever since I was a teenager, thought that, like, band names that start with the letter Z were just, like, I don't know, you don't see very many of them. So I was really interested in, like, throwing a Z in there. And he talked about it, and he loved the Z idea as well.
Who's your logo designer?
This guy, Joe. We actually forced him into drawing everything. He wanted to get somebody else to do some of the artwork, and we all fought against it, and we liked his stuff better. So
yeah, I draw a lot, do a lot of design, and I've always been into like fonts and the history of fonts and stuff like that. You know, I'm the type of person, if I'll see, you know, Comic Sans on an advertisement or something, it drives me crazy, you know. So yeah, ZEX, I mean, it's hand drawn, the famous logo, but it's essentially the font called Glass Houses, which is just probably derived from either Arial bold but cut up and sliced. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. Fonts are interesting. When you hang out with graphic designers, all they talk about is fonts. It's hilarious, and argue passionately about fonts.
So all your album art and everything, it's all you?
Yeah, and you know, there's a running theme. It's all like the same template essentially. I always thought you'd look at bands like fucking Black Flag or Iron Maiden or something, and all the records, logo on top, drawing a similar artist, like, you know, same fucking thing over and over again. I think that stands out. It really gives you know, an image to the band or whatever. And
you guys are a pretty relatively new band too, though. So.
I think we've been in a band for like almost exactly a year now.
Almost exactly. If a word is a word, that is certainly one.
We didn't play shows for a long time. We were jamming for 7 months before we even started playing shows. So there was a big build up, and we tried to sort of create a little bit of hype as well.
It was definitely a change, you know. Everyone else could probably say the same thing. I've probably been in bands where it's usually been you jam for about a week and a half and then you play your first show because you don't give a shit. So it's kind of weird to like try to wait it out and have a bit more patience. But yeah, we definitely tried every little trick we could through in the DIY style to create hype and just, you know, a bit of media attention, I guess.
It's not like we're not trying to stand out. We're absolutely trying to stand out. We want people to remember the stage shows and remember the catchy riffs and stuff like that. We're trying to get in your brain and stick there. So we're not just going to be, you know, the next band that you sell the CD at your garage sale. You know what I mean? We're trying. We want to stick.
If you're not paying attention, I will reach out and grab you.
She will. She's not lying.
Do you think that bands aren't putting on shows anymore? Like, it's no longer a theatrical performance, it's just they're just stale and playing there?
In my experience, like, I hate to say that because it's like a defeatist attitude, but it's true.
No, you can say it.
It's true. I for years now, like, it's been like hard for me to even, like, I go to shows just to be supportive of friends and stuff like that, almost more than to be entertained, because I know that I'm going to end up just standing there and watching them just play instruments without realizing, you know, there's people standing there watching you, and they're there to be entertained, not just to hear your music. They want to have the whole package, and like, if they really wanted to hear your music, they also could just get it off the internet or buy your records and listen to it at home and hear it in good quality rather than feedback and like all this and that. Like, they want to see something, and they want to be.
It's putting the show back into the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
That's insanely important.
Like,
Alice Cooper had it right.
Exactly. You know, you watch Kiss and Alice Cooper, and like, you know, a lot of people shit on these bands, but it's still it's entertaining. You know,
you'll never look away. You can't. You know, there's giant, you know, statue things and masks and flying, you know, pyrotechnics and stuff. You can't turn away.
Everyday life kind of sucks the life out of you. So it's just, when you go to a show, you want to be like filled with something that excites you and makes you want to go home and try doing something that you wouldn't normally do. Like, for instance, when I was a teenager, like when I went to shows, I got so excited by just the energy in the room that I wanted to so badly make people react while performing. Like, that's why I wanted to do it. It's just because, like, seeing people enjoy it and shouting it, and like their whole life they'll hear these songs and it just like brings them back like this, and it makes them want to like, oh, like pumps them full of energy, makes them want to do things. It's like I want to make people feel that way, because like a lot of the times I don't feel any bit of life inside of me, and if I can make people feel life, then I'm making something, you know. It's just it's like the only thing I want to do.
Do you got any shows coming up in Ottawa anytime soon, or no?
And try not to saturate your own city too much. You know?
Well, you know, you gotta
keep wanting more.
Exactly.
But I think we're going to do something before we go on our tour to Asia and Australia.
We're doing our little Canadian assault.
Do a kickoff kind of thing.
Dates.
Yeah, we're playing a few shows at
Central
Toronto and London and Quebec and Montreal. So that's coming up very soon.
What would you say to someone, a fan or whatnot, who's seen you guys, who wants to go home and start their own band? What advice would you give those youngins, I guess, who would want to do something like you guys are doing? What advice would you give?
I think it depends what you want as a band. If you want to be in a band that's going to be professional, or in the, like, not professional, but in the sense that you're actually going to be touring, you're going to be trying to put out records and everything, and you're not just going to be some bar band that plays the odd show here and there. I think you just have to really look at who you're working with and make sure that everyone's on the same page, and you have to really all work towards that same goal. And I think always setting yourself the next goal gives you always something to work towards, because as soon as you don't have that next goal, whether it's, you know, recording, having a show or a tour or something like that, it's easy to kind of get stagnant. And I find that's where a lot of the older bands that I've been in kind of sort of dropped off.
I'd probably tell them to make it count, because it's really easy to disappear in the music scene these days. So if you want to be that, you know, the kid that really wants to start the band, then do it, and don't you know, waste any time, or, you know, you gotta give it all or nothing at all. Go big or go home. It's basically what I'm trying to say.
I find there's not much advice you could give to somebody, honestly, because I mean it's 2014, and like, you know, in 1976, 1977, when punk bands, you know, were saying, here's 2 chords, now go and form a band, or it was easy, it was free, it was cheap, anybody could do it. Like, those quotes, they still apply now, but now it's in the mainstream, like a collective unconscious. So anybody that's too stupid to fucking do that, in my mind, I don't know, they just shouldn't bother with music. I mean, that's the only advice you could give, but that advice was given, you know, over 30 years ago. So, I mean, that's way past our generation.
I just see myself failing at everything if I tried something else. Like, I feel like this is what I would want to do, regardless of how successful it is or not. Just like, I'm just born to suffer in it or do well in it. It doesn't matter, just I'm supposed to be in it. That's just how I feel, because the idea of doing anything else just makes me like, I don't see the point.
So being from Ottawa, when you guys go out on the road, do you represent Ottawa? Do you feel like you're like Ottawa ambassadors? You know the old adage is Montreal, Toronto, why stop in Ottawa? Do you guys, when you guys go out, do people...
Well, for years I've struggled to like fucking book a lot of hardcore punk shows here in Ottawa, and really try to hype it and organize festivals and all that stuff. And in a sense, I really help like put Ottawa on the map in that scene. And so I mean, and that benefits us as a band. You know, you help someone out with that are touring through town here, and you're hospitable to them, and then, you know, years down the line it could be them returning the favor to you. You know, it's the network of friends that's what we rely on. We're like truly in the true sense of the form a do-it-yourself band, right?
So where can people find your music?
ZEX.com.
Oh yeah.
That helps.
ZEX.com was taken, but it's one of those nothing on the page type websites. What's up with that? What's up with that?
Cool. Thanks, guys.